You don't have to do anything to be loved. You have to be loved because you are a person worthy of love. That's the thing. And you just think that you are unworthy of love. That is why you feel like you have to do a certain type of thing. You have to act a certain type of way to be loved. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to control anything. And that's the thing, because you are a person. You are an amazing person. You don't need to beg for love.
Pull me closer. It's the breaking me. I wanna show you.
Hey my loves, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome guys. If you are new here, hi, welcome to the family, welcome to the gang. Thank you so much. I saw that we're on over 600 subscribers. I am so grateful. Thank you so much. Yeah, one thing I'm trying to do right now is to make sure I am very relatable, because one thing that that has really helped me is, discovering people who share their experiences and their stories and their healing journey and all of that on YouTube. And I also want to do the same, because life be lifing, but these are like the things that actually help us to heal and live peacefully and be happy and all of those things in general, if you get what I'm trying to say. So I'm just trying to be very relatable, which is like why I want to share one thing that I have actually been learning for the past couple of months that's actually like been really helpful, and that's like really helped me, and that is learning to choose self-love over my desire to be loved. Yes guys, let me start from this. I can remember that I grew up, with this need to be loved, wanting to be loved a certain way. I grew up with this, I always had this feeling of being unloved, not being heard, not being listened to, not being acknowledged, not being validated, not being allowed to express myself, express my feelings. And when I try to do that, I become the bad guy, not having an identity for myself, not being able to choose myself, all of those things in general. And I realized that this wanting and this need to be loved is what I took basically, and it's what I keep looking for in friendships and relationships in general. Is like I always want to be loved. When I had my breakup in January and I was talking to my therapist about this entire thing, I think what was even hurting me the most was not even what this person did, but just the fact that I just wanted to be loved. And then she told me this particular thing, and then she was like, yes, I hear you. You've always wanted to be loved and all of those things, but how about you start giving that love to yourself? Now, I didn't know, I used to think that love was just about, buying things for yourself, doing self-care, taking yourself out, but it is actually way more than that, to be very honest. And then one thing that I had to do first was to grieve the love that I never had, grieve that love. And how about you start giving that love to yourself? It's oh my god, no, it's not very simple, it's not very easy, no. And it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of work. Is that thing, if it's actually a particular, I had to grieve a lot of things. I had to grieve the love I never had. I had to grieve the love that I actually wanted. I had to grieve, the type of way that I actually wanted my parents to have raised me. I had to grieve all of those things in general, and then I had to start giving those things to myself, as loving myself and parenting myself, being a mom to myself, being a mom to my inner child, because my inner child, she went through so much and she was sad for a very long time, and I am now learning to give her so much love and so much happiness. So this is like what I have, I had to learn. You have to grieve that love first, and when you grieve that love, you have to start giving that love to yourself, and this takes so much time. And then I realized this particular thing: when you constantly have this need to be loved, need to be heard, need to be validated, you would settle in friendships, you will settle in relationships, you will settle a whole lot. I realized that there were like things I did as a child because I just wanted to be loved. These are like things that I'm not even proud of, and I realized that this is something I still carry on into friendship, into relationship. It's like you're trying to control the dynamic, you're trying to make sure this person actually loves you, and it's like you want this person to just keep loving you, you don't want this person to stop loving you, and that comes from the fact that you did not get these things as a child, you probably got a conditional based type of love as a child, and you just feel like you have to keep acting a certain way to be loved growing up as an adult, and that is not how it should be. That's actually something that I had to unlearn. The love I actually got as a child was conditional in a way, in the sense that, you know, when you are only loved because you act a certain type of way, you do this particular thing, you do things that actually please them, that's a conditional type of love. Love should be unconditional. That's one thing you need to understand. Love should be unconditional. You don't have to be a certain type of way to be loved. You don't have to earn love. You don't have to earn love. You don't have to work to be loved. You don't have to work for this love. Anybody who loves you will love you just because you are you, because you are this amazing, badass self that you are, to be very honest. And that's actually one thing I realized, that it was like I had to like earn love growing up as a child. I had to be a certain type of way to be loved, because if I'm not a certain type of way, I would not be loved. And that is one thing that has carried me even to friendship, relationships. Is like I have to be this type of way because I want you to love me. I have to keep settling because I want you to love me. Like, and that's not how love should be. That's not how you should be loved. You don't have to do anything to be loved. This is actually one thing I've said before. You don't have to do anything to be loved. You have to be loved because you are a person worthy of love. That's the thing. And you just think that you are unworthy of love. That is why you feel like you have to do a certain type of thing. You have to act a certain type of way to be loved. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to control anything. And that's the thing, because you are a person. You are an amazing person. You don't need to beg for love. You are worthy of love, and that's the thing. And if someone who genuinely loves you would never make you do any of those things or make you feel that way, but you keep doing those things because you feel like you are not worthy of love. You feel like you're not worthy, and that's one thing that you have to unlearn. Now, when I was growing up here, I could not express my feelings. I could not express my hurt. I could not say, oh, I'm hurt by this, oh, your actions actually made me feel this type of way, or your actions actually made me do this. I could not do that. So in friendships, in relationships, I realized that, you know, I was always very, very careful. I was always very, very careful to speak, to act, to get angry, because I just feel like whenever I express myself, I was not going to be heard. Like, it was going to be like, this person is going to leave me. This person is actually going to abandon me. This person is going to just end in fights, basically. And so when it gets to a point where I am extremely mad, I come at you with this, well, since we are going to end the friendship anyways, like my communication now becomes very terrible. Like I come with this, I'm trying to fight you. So it's like, since it's going to end, let it end like that. Like, so that is actually how my friendships, my relationship has been. Like, I have been so terrible with communication because I didn't even know how to communicate. Like growing up, when my parents were like really, really mad at me, or when they feel like I did something wrong that I don't even know. And basically, I used to think that, you know, when someone actually does something wrong to me, that they actually know that they actually did that particular thing wrong to me. So it's like I'm always expecting them to own up to that thing that they did that they probably don't even know. So that's actually how growing up was for me. Like, it's like they might be mad at me, and it's like the way you would know that they are mad at you is silent treatment. There was actually a time, there like times where, you know, my mom would not talk to me for like weeks and all of those things, and it's like she's ready to act like she's trying to cut you off out of her life. And that's actually how I used to communicate. And it's like I will bottle things up in my mind, and then when it gets to the point where it's like I can't take it anymore, I would explode. And it's like I'm communicating with you as per I'm trying to ruin that friendship, I'm trying to ruin that relationship. That was actually how that was for me. So it's like I used to be so careful in friendships, in relationships. It also made it seem like I was, you know, settling. I was settling because I just wanted this person to keep loving me. I just feel like, okay, even though I'm not being treated well, once I, you know, start getting angry about it, this it's gonna stop. Like, you start to settle, you start to stay in situations that you're not supposed to be staying. Like, you know, all of these things in general, when you constantly have this need to be loved. And I looked at like my past relationship, and I realized that why did I actually stay so long? Like, why did I stay so long? Like, I wasn't excited, I wasn't happy, I hated how that relationship was. Why didn't I live sooner? And that's just the thing. It's like I just wanted to be loved. basically. And that's the thing about wanting to be loved. You keep settling in situations that are not. She just can't bring the light because I'm so hot. Sorry. So yes, so that's that. So I had to learn that. I had to start learning that I have to start giving that love, that care, that attention, all of those things. I have to start giving those things to myself, because that's the thing. Oh, thank God. God heard me and he brought the light. So yes, I think God actually wanted me to sit in this situation. He wanted me to sit in my feelings, to sit in this, to understand that I need to learn how to love myself. And I realized that I didn't used to love myself. Like, I used to think that I loved myself, but it was just me giving myself, material things. But loving yourself, involves a whole lot of things. What you actually want somebody else to do for you, what you wanted them to do for you that they didn't do for you when you're growing up, what you wanted that ex to do for you, what you want your friends to do for you. How about you start giving those things to yourself? Is it affection? Is it care? Is it whatever it is? You have to start giving those things to yourself. And that is actually what I have been learning. How I talk to myself, what I say to myself, how I take care of myself, how I make my meals, like those things in general. There was actually a time I was actually having serious cramps, and I had to make myself this soup bowl. And it was how I actually made this soup bowl with so much love, because I was in pain. I wanted to soothe myself and take care of myself. This is actually something that I would want somebody else to do for me, right? But I decided to do that for myself. And I was so emotional. I actually wanted to cry, because it was oh my God, I can actually give this to myself. To be very honest, we all want to be loved. That's the thing. We as humans actually want to be loved. But how about you love yourself first? I realized that I wasn't loving myself the way I want someone else to love me. That's just pure fact. I wasn't loving myself enough in the way that in the way I want someone else to love me. And I had to start loving myself. I have to start loving myself in that way. It's a way of manifesting. It's a way of manifesting. It's a way of, I want someone to love me this particular way, so I'm going to treat myself that particular way. Is one thing I am beginning to learn, treat and give. Even in the tiniest things, that's actually what I'm doing for myself. The tiniest things, I'm doing all those things for myself. I want someone who is thoughtful. How about you be thoughtful with yourself? Those things in general. Okay, I want someone who cares for me. Who cares for me, when I'm not feeling good, when I'm not feeling too well. How about you care for yourself when you're feeling good? That was why I was so excited. I actually made myself that soup bowl when I was sick, and I made it with so much love, even though I was in pain. And I realized that I would be so excited if I actually had someone actually do this for me. But how about I do this for myself? And that's the thing. You treat yourself the way you want someone else to treat you. Pamper yourself. You pamper yourself. Seriously, that's one thing I have been doing for myself. Walking away from situations that are not serving me, creating strict boundaries. That's the thing. I have been creating strict boundaries. I don't want no form of negativity, no form of whatever in my life. I've just been giving myself, I'm basically all in positive energy. Once I sense negativity, I'm out of there. Once I sense something that will actually cause me problems, troubles, I don't engage, which is why my circle is so small and I am always by myself, because being by myself has been one powerful thing. It had made me to be in touch with myself, in tune with myself. And that's the thing. Sometimes you actually have to leave the crowd and be by yourself to get to know yourself, to get to know yourself more, which is one thing I've actually been doing for myself. Another thing is this, one thing I realized about life in general is that one thing I am super excited for is when you start loving yourself, you start creating an identity for yourself. And that is one thing I've actually talked about in one of my videos. We grew up, when we grew up with the identity of the people that we grew up with. So you will see that you actually act in a certain type of way based on how the people you grew up with used to act. Is you picked up traits basically from the people you grew up with. And one thing about being grown and being in your healing journey is you start creating a new identity for yourself. You start to know yourself. You start getting to know yourself. You start letting go of traits that you do not want for yourself, you don't like for yourself. And that's part of loving yourself, to be very honest. And when I look at my parents' relationship, that's actually one thing I didn't like it. I didn't like the constant fight, and the relationship I was in, that was the way it was. It was like I was always fighting. I always had something to fight about. Like, it's because it's like I was not being heard, I was not being listened to. So it's like we're always fighting every single time. And I'm just like, this is literally how my parents' relationship, is, and I don't want that for myself. And then my therapist told me this, like, I grew up from a dysfunctional family. Why would you think you're not going to have a dysfunctional relationship? And that's the thing, is the starter pack, most especially when you're with somebody that is not healthy for you. It's gonna be dysfunction, baby. It's gonna be dysfunction. That's like triggering trauma. Like, that's like one thing I had to learn. And she's like, you have to let go of this. Like, that's the truth. Like, if you grew up in a dysfunctional family, there is no way you would not have a dysfunctional family, most especially if the person you were with or you're with is not healthy for you. And sometimes, even if the person is healthy for you, you would be the one to bring in your own dysfunction into that relationship, and it's probably can actually ruin the relationship. Because I realized that my communication in general used to be very, very horrible. Whenever I communicate, I don't communicate based off of I'm trying to solve something. I'm communicating based off of I'm trying to fight you. That's like the way I used to communicate. I actually want us to also realize, like, irregardless of the fact that this person I was with did me dirty, I also have to take responsibility for like the part I played in that relationship, and also heal and grow from it. The way I used to communicate, I don't like it, and I don't want to ever communicate like that again, which is like one thing I'm trying to unlearn for myself. And at the same time, I want a relationship where it's gonna be healthy. Like, I'm healthy, not just only me doing the work. Like, I'm healthy, my partner is healthy. That's actually one thing that like I had to think about. The relationship you're in, is it a relationship that you would want to have a child in? Is it the relationship you actually want, your child to learn from? Do I want this person to be the father of my kids? Like, you have to think about like those things in general. Like, I'm really, really, how will I really put it? I care so much about, my future kids. That's if I'm actually going to have kids. Like, I care so much about that. I care about the family that I want to build or I want to have. And, I have to be healthy because I do not want to continue this generational cycle of abuse. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for my kids. I don't want that for my inner child. So it's like I have to break that cycle, which is something that I have been learning, and I have been, it has actually been this learning and unlearning experience, which I am super, super excited about. Another thing about loving myself that I have been learning is that it is very, very okay for you to be selfish with yourself. Be selfish, to be very honest. You have to be selfish yourself. Now, I had to like think back, and I'm like, yeah, these are like the things that I used to do for people. Not like I'm actually expecting anything in return. No, I'm not. But it's like you used to pour into people. How about you start pouring into yourself? Like, how about you start taking care of yourself? How about you start choosing yourself? And that's the thing. When I started choosing myself, like I started choosing myself 2021. And I felt horrible when I started choosing myself because I felt like I was letting some people down. If I was like, some people they're actually gonna hate me, which I mean they did. They're not gonna like me. Those things are there, but you have to create a life that is best for yourself. Let me tell you something. Everybody is gonna do what's best for them. How about you do what's best for you? To be very honest, you have to be selfish with yourself. You have to pour into yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're empty, what are you giving to people? You have to give to yourself. You don't neglect yourself. And one thing you should never do, if you're still doing it, because I had to learn that, you have to stop living your life to please other people. You have to choose a life that works for you, that is best for you. Like, you have to live a life for you, because these people that you are trying to please, they are not going to be there when you are crying at 3 a.m. hating your life. They're not going to be there. And even if they know that you tell them, oh, I was trying to please, they will ask you, then who asked you to? Like, it's crazy, because you don't have to do that. Everybody's actually doing what's best for them. You have to do what's best for you, to be very honest. Like, you have to live your life for you. Stop living your life for anybody. That's actually something I had to learn for myself. I had to stop living my life to please people. I had to stop living, yes, be it family, be it friends, be it your partner. You have to stop living your life to please anybody. That's the thing. You have to live a life that is best for you. God did not put you on this earth to live a miserable life. He didn't put you on this earth to live a life that is not for you. He didn't say, oh, I'm putting you on this earth to what? To please this person. If that was the case, he would have joined you together with that person. It didn't say that's actually how you're supposed to live your life. Like, and you have to be okay being the bad guy when you start choosing yourself. You have to be okay being hated. You have to be okay with outgrowing people, outgrowing friendships, outgrowing relationship. Like, you have to be okay with that, because that's the honest truth. Not everybody can accept the new version of you. Not everybody can actually accept who you are as a person when you start choosing yourself. And that's okay. Some people are actually going to hate you for choosing yourself. And that's okay, because they want you to be a certain type of way. And that's not how you should be. You should be your own type of way. And anybody who hates you for being your own type of way is just being, is trying to control you. That's the way I would put it. So you have to be your own person. And that's the thing, because life is too short for you to keep living your life to please somebody else or to make somebody else like you. Yes, that's like how I used to live my life. I used to live my life in a way that I want to keep this particular thing because I want this person to like me. I don't want this person to stop liking me. I don't want this person to stop loving me. No. And I also realized that the love I actually got as a child was conditional in a way, in the sense that, you know, when you are only loved because you act a certain type of way, you do this particular thing, you do things that actually please them, that's a conditional type of love. Love should be unconditional. That's one thing you need to understand. Love should be unconditional. You don't have to be a certain type of way to be loved. You don't have to earn love. You don't have to earn love. You don't have to work to be loved. You don't have to work for this love. Anybody who loves you will love you just because you are you, because you are this amazing badass self that you are, to be very honest. And that's actually one thing I realized, that it was like I had to like earn love growing up as a child. I had to be a certain type of way to be loved, because if I'm not a certain type of way, I would not be loved. And that is one thing that has carried me even to friendship, relationships. Is like I have to be this type of way because I want you to love me. I have to keep settling because I want you to love me. Like, and that's not how love should be. And one thing you should also understand about love is this: anybody who loves you would never put themselves in a position to intentionally hurt you. Nobody. They would not do things that would they would not try to harm you intentionally. But anybody who does that doesn't love you, and that's just the honest truth. Doesn't love you. Anybody who loves you would not make you feel less of yourself, not make you feel insecure, would bring you safety. Like, those are the things that come with love. You don't have to prove or act a certain way to be loved. That's not love. That's not love. And these are like the things that I have I've had to learn, basically, to be this. These are the things I've actually had to learn. It's just like part of like my healing journey, which I am super excited to share. And I feel like I need to share this. I have been choosing, loving myself and being in touch with myself over like my desire to be loved, because I'm not gonna lie, I want to be loved, and I'm gonna be loved. I'm manifesting that. But till then, I'm gonna love myself. Even when that also happens, I'm gonna keep loving myself. I'm not gonna stop loving myself, because where I am right now, I can easily walk away for something that is not serving me. That's where I am right now. I can, easily choose myself. Easily. These are things that I could not do before, which I can do now. That's part of the healing journey. Another thing I'm going to say is this: you have to choose yourself. You have to choose the kind of life you want for yourself. Choosing your career path for yourself. Choosing what you want for yourself. Stop living your life based off of what somebody else is actually telling you to do. Like, you need to stop doing that. I can remember as at 2021, I was crying to my best friend as to how my life is actually gonna be if I don't follow like the career path I actually want for myself. I could actually see how miserable my life was actually gonna be if I don't do that. And that's the thing. Like, even though I was also very, very scared as like the career path that I also wanted for myself, because I mean, nobody has it figured out. Nobody. Everybody's just, guessing. Nobody actually has it figured out. And this is me right now, still choosing the same career path I wanted for myself, and I am doing so well in life. As the thing, like, life comes at you with challenges, but like, I mean, God is still taking me to a far greater, better place than I am right now. I can remember the reason I'm actually going right now, I'm taking myself out on a date right now because it is 1 year anniversary since I launched my store in Lagos. I opened this store in Lagos. It was like not like a dream. I actually had a dream. God told me to open a store. He told me in that dream to open a store, and I opened a store in Lagos. I wasn't thinking about the money I was putting into it. Like, I don't even like to think about money, but I wasn't thinking. I was just doing it. And this is a year after, and I can pay rent. I can pay the rent for the store, which is like what I'm going to celebrate, because that's God, and that's also me believing in myself. Like, believing in myself. It's like, there are times where I give up. There are times where I don't believe in myself, but it's like I just still pick myself either ways, and God is there by my side. That's the thing. No matter what, as long as actually what you want to do in life, please do it. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody, because you're not living your life to please anybody. You're living life for you, for yourself, and that's just the honest truth. It doesn't have to please anybody. Anyways, I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. I really, really do hope that I didn't miss out of anything that I actually wanted to say. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing videos like this moving forward, because I love to talk, period. I love to share experiences. I love to share my life experiences and like the things I have learned, because one thing I also like really like is the fact that, the things that don't make me feel alone in this life here are people who talk about their life and struggles and things they've healed from on YouTube here, and then you're listening to them and you're like, oh my God, wow, I'm not alone. Oh my God. So I'm not the only one who feels this way. Yeah, I also want to be that type of person for people. Relatability, because I also realized that like some sit down videos I've actually done, they were like helpful to some people, and I'm just really excited about that. So I'm going to keep doing it either ways. So yeah, thank you so much once again, guys, for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Please do that for me, and I love you guys. Bye.